Sonnet I to A.C.L. by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Matthew Datcher. Through suffering and sorrow thou hast passed, to show us what a woman true may be. They have not taken sympathy from thee, nor made thee any other than thou wast. Save as some tree which in a sudden blast sheddeth those blossoms that are weakly grown upon the air, but keepeth every one whose strength gives warrant of good fruit at last. So thou hast shed some blooms of gaiety, but never one of steadfast cheerfulness, nor hath thy knowledge of adversity robbed thee of any faith in happiness, but rather clear thy inner eyes to see how many simple ways there are to bless. 1840. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet number 2, What Were I, Love, If I Were Stripped of Thee? By James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Ross Klatte, April 25th, 2K16, Roebuck, South Carolina. What were I, love, if I were stripped of thee? If thine eyes shut me out whereby I live? Thou, who unto my calmer soul dost give knowledge, and truth, and holy mystery, wherein truth mainly lies for those who see beyond the earthly and the fugitive, who in the grandeur of the soul believe, and only in the infinite are free? Without thee I were naked, bleak, and bare as yon dead cedar on the sea cliff's brow, and nature's teachings, which come to me now, common and beautiful as light and air, would be as fruitless as a stream which still slips through the wheel of some old ruined mill. 1841. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sonnet number 3 by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Ross Klatte, May 3rd, 2K16, Roebuck, South Carolina. I would not have this perfect love of ours grow from a single root, a single stem, bearing no goodly fruit, but only flowers that idly hide life's iron diadem. It should grow alway, like that eastern tree whose limbs take root and spread forth constantly. That love for one, from which there doth not spring wide love for all, it is but a worthless thing. Not in another world, as poets prate, dwell we apart, above the tide of things, high floating o'er earth's clouds on fairy wings, but our pure love doth ever elevate into a holy bond of brotherhood all earthly things, making them pure and good. 1840. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet IV by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Sonnet IV. For this true nobleness I seek in vain, in woman and in man I find it not. I almost weary of my earthly lot, my life springs are dried up with burning pain. Thou find'st it not? I pray thee, look again, look inward through the depth of thine own soul. How is it with thee? Art thou sound and whole? Doth narrow search show thee no earthly stain? Be noble, and the nobleness that lies in other men, sleeping, but never dead, will rise in majesty to meet thine own. Then wilt thou see it gleam in many eyes, then will pure light around thy path be shed, and thou wilt never more be sad and lone. 1840. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet V, To the Spirit of Keats, by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Ryan Finch. Great soul, thou sittest with me in my room, uplifting me with thy vast, quiet eyes, on whose full orbs, with kindly lustre lies the twilight warmth of ruddy ember gloom. Thy clear strung tones will oft bring sudden bloom of hope secure to him who lonely cries, wrestling with the young poet's agonies, neglect and scorn, which seem a certain doom. Yes, the few words which, like great thunder drops, thy large heart down to earth shook doubtfully, thrilled by the inward lightning of its might, serene and pure, like gushing joy of light, shall track the eternal chords of destiny after the moon-led pulse of ocean stops. 1841. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sonnet VI by James Russell Lowell. Read for LibriVox.org by Ryan Finch. Great truths are portions of the soul of man. Great souls are portions of eternity. Each drop of blood that e'er through true heart ran, with lofty message, ran for thee and me. For God's law, since the starry song began, hath been, and still for evermore must be, that every deed which shall outlast time's span must goad the soul to be erect and free. Slave is no word of deathless lineage sprung. Too many noble souls have fought and died. Too many mighty poets have lived and sung, and our good Saxon, from lips purified with martyr fire, throughout the world hath rung, too long to have God's holy cause denied. 1841. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sonnet VII by James Russell Lowell. Read for LibriVox.org by Ryan Finch. I ask not for those thoughts that sudden leap from being's sea, like the isle-seeming kraken, with whose great rise the ocean all is shaken, and a heart-tremble quivers through the deep. Give me that growth which some perchance deem sleep, wherewith the steadfast coral stems uprise, which, by the toil of gathering energies, their upward way into clear sunshine keep, until, by heaven's sweetest influences, slowly and slowly spreads a speck of green into a pleasant island in the seas, where, mid tall palms, the cane-roofed home is seen, and wearied men shall sit at sunset's hour, hearing the leaves and loving God's dear power. 1841. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet number 8 to M.W. on her birthday by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Ross Klatte, Cinco de Mayo, 2K16, Roebuck, South Carolina. Maiden, when such a soul as thine is born, the morning stars their ancient music make, and joyful once again their song awake, long silent now with melancholy scorn. And thou, not mindless of so blest a morn, by no least deed its harmony shalt break, but shalt to that high chime thy footsteps take, through life's most darksome passes unforlorn. Therefore from thy pure faith thou shalt not fall, Therefore shalt thou be ever fair and free, and in thine every motion musical as summer air, majestic as the sea, a mystery to those who creep and crawl through time and parted from eternity. 1841. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sonnet number 9 by James Russell Lowell. Read for LibriVox.org by Ross Klatte, May 3rd, 2K16, Roebuck, South Carolina. My love, I have no fear that thou shouldst die, albeit I ask no fairer life than this, whose numbering clock is still thy gentle kiss, while time and peace with hands enlocked fly. Yet care I not where in eternity we live and love, well knowing that there is no backward step for those who feel the bliss of faith as their most lofty yearnings high. Love hath so purified my being's core, meseems I scarcely should be startled even to find some morn that thou hadst gone before. Since with thy love this knowledge too was given, which each calm day doth strengthen more and more, that they who love are but one step from heaven. 1841. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sonnet number 10 by James Russell Lowell. Read for LibriVox.org by Ross Klatte, May 7th, 2K16, Roebuck, South Carolina. I cannot think that thou shouldst pass away, whose life to mine is an eternal law, a piece of nature that can have no flaw, a new and certain sunrise every day. But if thou art to be another ray about the sun of life, and art to live free from all of thee that was fugitive, the debt of love I will more fully pay, not downcast with the thought of thee so high, but rather raised to be a nobler man and more divine in my humanity, as knowing that the waiting eyes which scan my life are lighted by a purer being, and ask meek, calm-browed deeds, with it agreeing. 1841. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 11 by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Matthew Datcher. There never yet was flower fair in vain. Let classic poets rhyme it as they will. The seasons toil that it may blow again, and summer's heart doth feel its every ill. Nor is a true soul ever born for naught, wherever any such hath lived and died. There hath been something for true freedom wrought, some bulwark levelled on the evil side. Toil on then, greatness, thou art in the right, however narrow souls may call thee wrong. Be as thou wouldest be in thine own clear sight, and so thou wilt in all the worlds ere long, for worldlings cannot, struggle as they may, from man's great soul one great thought hide away. 1841. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 12 by James Russell Lowell. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Sub Pondere Crescit. The hope of truth grows stronger day by day. I hear the soul of man around me waking, like a great sea, its frozen fetters breaking, and flinging up to heaven its sunlit spray, tossing huge continents in scornful play, and crushing them with din of grinding thunder that makes old emptinesses stare in wonder. The memory of a glory past away lingers in every heart, as in the shell resounds the bygone freedom of the sea. And every hour new signs of promise tell that the great soul shall once again be free, for high and yet more high the murmurs swell of inward strife for truth and liberty. 1841. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet number 13 by James Russell Lowell. Read for LibriVox.org by Ross Klatte, May 16th, 2K16, Roebuck, South Carolina. Beloved, in the noisy city here, the thought of thee can make all turmoil cease. Around my spirit folds thy spirit clear its still soft arms, and circles it with peace. There is no room for any doubt or fear in souls so overfilled with love's increase. There is no memory of the bygone year, but growth in hearts and spirits' perfect ease. How hath our love, half nebulous at first, rounded itself into a full-orbed sun! How have our lives and wills, as haply erst they were, ere this forgetfulness begun, through all their earthly distantness outburst, and melted like two rays of light in one. 1842. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 14, on reading Wordsworth sonnets in defense of capital punishment by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Matthew Datcher. As the broad ocean endlessly upheaveth with the majestic beating of his heart, the mighty tides whereof its rightful part each sea-wide bay in little weed receiveth, so through his soul who earnestly believeth life from the universal heart doth flow, whereby some conquest of the eternal woe by instinct of God's nature he achieveth. A fuller pulse of this all-powerful beauty into the poet's gulf-like heart doth tide, and he more keenly feels the glorious duty of serving truth, despised and crucified. Happy unknowing sect or creed, to rest and feel God flow forever through his breast. 1842. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sonnet 15, the same continued by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Matthew Datcher. Once hardily in a cycle blossometh a flower-like soul ripe with the seeds of song, a spirit foreordained to cope with wrong, whose divine thoughts are natural as breath. Who the old darkness thickly scattereth with starry words that shoot prevailing light into the deeps and wither with the blight of serene truth the coward heart of death. Woe if such spirit thwart its errand high and mock with lies the longing soul of man, yet one age longer must true culture lie, soothing her bitter fetters as she can, until new messages of love outstart at the next beating of the infinite heart. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sonnet 16, the same continued by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Matthew Datcher. The love of all things springs from love of one. Wider the soul's horizon hourly grows, and over it with fuller glory flows the sky-like spirit of God. A hope begun in doubt and darkness neath a fairer sun cometh to fruitage, if it be of truth. And to the law of meekness, faith, and ruth, by inward sympathy shall all be won. This thou shouldest know, who from the painted feature of shifting fashion couldst thy brethren turn unto the love of ever youthful nature and of a beauty fadeless and etern. And always 'tis the saddest sight to see an old man faithless in humanity. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 17, the same continued, by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Ryan Finch. A poet cannot strive for despotism, his harp falls shattered, for it still must be the instinct of great spirits to be free, and the sworn foes of cunning barbarism. He who has deepest searched the wide abysm of that life-giving soul which men call fate, knows that to put more faith in lies and hate than truth and love is the true atheism. Upward the soul forever turns her eyes. The next hour always shames the hour before. One beauty, at its highest, prophesies that by whose side it shall seem mean and poor. No godlike thing knows aught of less and less, but widens to the boundless perfectness. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet XVIII, the same continued by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Matthew Datcher. Therefore think not the past is wise alone, for yesterday knows nothing of the best, and thou shalt love it only as the nest whence glory-winged things to heaven have flown. To the great soul alone are all things known, present and future are to her as past, while she in glorious madness doth forecast that perfect bud which seems a flower full blown. To each new prophet, and yet always opes fuller and fuller with each day and hour, heartening the soul with odor of fresh hopes and longings high and gushings of wide power, yet never is or shall be fully blown, save in the forethought of the Eternal One. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sonnet XIX, the same concluded by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Matthew Datcher. Far yond this narrow parapet of time, with eyes uplift, the poet's soul should look into the endless promise, nor should brook one prying doubt to shake his faith sublime. To him the earth is ever in her prime and dewiness of morning. He can see good lying hid from all eternity within the teeming womb of sin and crime. His soul should not be cramped by any bar. His nobleness should be so godlike high that his least deed is perfect as a star, his common look majestic as the sky, and all o'erflooded with a light from far, undimmed by clouds of weak mortality. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sonnet XX to M.O.S. by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Matthew Datcher. Mary, since first I knew thee, to this hour, my love hath deepened, with my wiser sense of what in woman is to reverence. Thy clear heart, fresh as e'er was forest flower, still opens more to me its beauteous dower. But let praise hush. Love asks no evidence to prove itself well placed. We know not whence it gleans the straws that thatch its humble bower. We can but say we found it in the heart, spring of all sweetest thoughts, arch foe of blame, sower of flowers in the dusty mart, pure vestal of the poet's holy flame. This is enough, and we have done our part, if we but keep it spotless as it came. 1842. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet number 21 by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Ross Klatte, May 26, 2K16, Roebuck, South Carolina. Our love is not a fading earthly flower, its winged seed dropped down from paradise, and nursed by day and night, by sun and shower, doth momently to fresher beauty rise. To us the leafless autumn is not bare, nor winter's rattling boughs lack lusty green. Our summer hearts make summer's fulness, where no leaf or bud or blossom may be seen. For nature's life in love's deep life doth lie, love, whose forgetfulness is beauty's death, whose mystic key these cells of thou and I into the infinite freedom openeth, and makes the body's dark and narrow grate the wide flung leaves of heaven's palace gate. 1842. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 22 by James Russell Lowell. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. In absence. These rugged wintry days I scarce could bear, did I not know that in the early spring, when wild March winds upon their errand sing, thou wouldst return, bursting on this still air, like those same winds, when startled from their lair, they hunt up violets, and free swift brooks from icy cares, even as thy clear looks bid my heart bloom, and sing and break all care. When drops with welcome rain the April day, my flowers shall find their April in thine eyes. Save there the rain in dreamy clouds does stay, as loath to fall out of those happy skies. Yet sure, my love, thou art most like to May, that comes with steady sun when April dies. 1843. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 23, Wendell Phillips, by James Russell Lowell. Read for LibriVox.org by Ryan Finch. He stood upon the world's broad threshold, wide the din of battle and of slaughter rose. He saw God stand upon the weaker side, that sank in seeming loss before its foes. Many there were who made great haste, and sold unto the cunning enemy their swords. He scorned their gifts of fame, and power, and gold, and underneath their soft and flowery words heard the cold serpent hiss. Therefore he went, and humbly joined him to the weaker part, fanatic named, and fool, yet well content, so he could be the nearer to God's heart, and feel its solemn pulses sending blood through all the widespread veins of endless good. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sonnet 24, The Street, by James Russell Lowell. Read for LibriVox.org by Ryan Finch. They pass me by like shadows, crowds on crowds, dim ghosts of men that hover to and fro, hugging their bodies round them like thin shrouds, wherein their souls were buried long ago. They trampled on their youth and faith and love. They cast their hope of humankind away. With heaven's clear messages they madly strove and conquered, and their spirits turned to clay. Lo, how they wander round the world, their grave, whose ever gaping maw by such is fed, gibbering at living men, and idly rave. We only truly live, but ye are dead. Alas, poor fools, the anointed eye may trace a dead soul's epitaph in every face. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 25 by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Matthew Datcher. I grieve not that ripe knowledge takes away the charm that nature to my childhood wore, for with that insight cometh day by day a greater bliss than wonder was before. The real doth not clip the poet's wings. To win the secret of a weed's plain heart reveals some clue to spiritual things, and stumbling guess becomes firm-footed art. Flowers are not flowers unto the poet's eyes. Their beauty thrills him by an inward sense. He knows that outward seemings are but lies, or at the most, but earthly shadows, whence the soul that looks within for truth may guess the presence of some wondrous heavenliness. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 26 by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. To J.R. Giddings. Giddings, far rougher names than thine have grown smoother than honey on the lips of man, and thou shalt aye be honourably known as one who bravely used his tongue and pen, as best befits a freeman, even for those to whom our law's unblushing front denies a right to plead against the lifelong woes which are the Negro's glimpse of freedom's skies. Fear nothing, and hope all things, as the right alone may do securely. Every hour the thrones of ignorance and ancient night lose somewhat of their long usurped power, and freedom's lightest word can make them shiver with a base dread that clings to them forever. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 27 by James Russell Lowell, read for LibriVox.org by Matthew Datcher. I thought our love at full, but I did err. Joy's wreath drooped o'er mine eyes. I could not see that sorrow in our happy world must be love's deepest spokesman and interpreter. But as a mother feels her child first stir under her heart, so felt I instantly, deep in my soul, another bond to thee, thrill with that life we saw depart from her. O mother of our angel child, twice dear, death knits as well as parts, and still, I wis, her tender radiance shall enfold us here, even as the light, borne up by inward bliss, threads the void glooms of space without a fear, to print on farthest stars her pitying kiss. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of the Sonnets by James Russell Lowell.